For over 50 years of collegiate history, the coming of spring meant that the MayDay Festival was approaching.
MayDay was an important celebration at Collegiate Girls' School. For many years, MayDay celebrated the start of spring with the maypole dancing and singing and involved all the girls at Collegiate in kindergarten to 12th grade.
The girls wore trendy pastel dresses with excessive flowers and bows. In the early years, boys were not allowed, but this rule changed when MayDay began to modernize and evolve. Boys often found ways to sneak in anyway.
When the campus of the Collegiate School was on Monument Avenue, the MayDay celebration took place at the nearby Sauer Gardens. The Sauer Gardens stretched from Livy Avenue to Broad Street and was a popular place for many occasions, such as a walk or a wedding.
We researched MayDays from 3 different decades, and it became evident that the trends and themes were evolving from the original MayDay of 1934. When the campus changed location, so did MayDay. The last years took place on the collegiate campus that we know today.
In the spring of 1947, the girls at Collegiate were eagerly preparing for the 14th annual celebration of the beginning of spring. Prior to the 11th, the talk of the students was about who the MayDay Queen would be and what theme would be chosen.
The upper school girls were responsible for voting for the May Queen and her maid of honor. In 1947, the Queen was chosen based on her, quote, school spirit, good posture, popularity, poise, and graceful carriage. Sue Sale was elected MayDay Queen, and her maid of honor was Barbara Dale.
The match from April 11, 1947 announced the theme of nursery rhymes and told each grade what their particular role would be. The lower and middle schools, then called primary and intermediate, dressed up within their grade in response to the theme and did a dance.
Kindergarten took on the role of Jack and Jill, 4th grade was assigned Mary Had a Little Lamb, and 8th grade took on the role of Old Mother Tabby Skin. The rest of the lower school was responsible for the program and helping with the music and the festival.
In May of 1956, the collegiate school had grown, so it was necessary to have 2 maypoles, and the freshmen did the traditional maypole dance. Each grade now had its own specific role at the celebration, and they were all different. The match announced that the theme would be Pageant of Queens, and to honor the Queen, each grade did a dance.
The 4th grade did a fairy-like dance, dressed up as little snowflakes, Jack Frost, and the Snow Queen. The 7th grade did a dance, dressed up as the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland, and the 8th grade did an interpretive dance of a gypsy celebration. The queen for the day was Sally G. Montgomery, and her maid of honor was Bernice Champ Roberts.
By 1965, the tradition continued, but MayDay had greatly changed. The Queen was elected the same way, but now the criteria was different. When lower school girls were asked what a May Queen should be, they responded that she, quote, had to have a crown, pretty dress, be good and lovable, have blue eyes, have blonde hair, and good grades. And most of all, she had to have an army of slaves to obey her slightest command. The queen that fit this description was Fleet Gregory, and her maid of honor was Beverly Allen Brockenbrough.
In 1965, the celebration had lost a great part of its meaning when the lower and middle school began their own spring programs. A type of field day was held where the teams competed in different games instead of doing the typical dances that they usually performed for the May Court. The school had gotten too big to continue with May Days exactly like they had in the past.
Because the values and purpose of MayDay were changing, the collegiate community lost sight of its original goals, and MayDay ended. The dances from the lower school that were performed to honor the court became less of an honor and more of a gymnastics competition. Alex Smith, a collegiate alum, said that it became more of a circus show. The majority of the initial traditions of MayDay were lost by the mid-60s.
Although the tradition of MayDay was transformed throughout the years, it will always be remembered as a celebration of the beginning of spring and an important part of collegiate history.